I came home from a cattle auction, trailer loaded with fresh stock, only to round the bend and slam on the brakes. So hard my old coffee mug finally broke free from the dashboard where it had been glued for years by Texas heat and stubbornness. There it was, an 8-foot privacy fence stretched across Cottonwood Creek Road like a wooden slap in the face. Fresh lumber, smell hit me along with the rising blood pressure. A shiny new sign read, Private Road, Willowbrook Estates, residents only. And standing there like she'd just won the lottery was Vivian Blackwood, HOA president, clipboard in hand, flanked by 2 board members who looked ready to bolt. Security improvement, she announced with that glowing satisfaction. You'll need alternative access. This was the road my grandfather built stone by stone in 1962 with his own hands and a beat-up Ford that leaked more oil than sense. The same road our family had used for 60 years, the one the newcomers in their fancy subdivision had been driving on every day without a second thought. They decided they could just cut me off from my own land. I didn't yell. I just stared until she shifted uncomfortably, then climbed back in the truck and drove the long detour that stressed my cattle and cost me time and feed. That night, over leftover pot roast, my wife Sarah slid me a business card for the sharpest property lawyer in 3 counties, my old high school buddy Garrett Mills. He spread out the faded 1962 easement agreement across his desk the next morning and grinned. Perpetual and exclusive right of ingress and egress. Runs with the land forever. No HOA vote touches this. He fired off a cease and desist, demanding fence removal in 48 hours. Vivian's Dallas lawyer fired back with nonsense about expired easements and incompatible commercial use, then offered a compromise. Daily access permits at $25 each, submitted 72 hours in advance, subject to review. Basically, I need her permission to feed my own cows on my own property. Over my dead body. Sarah, the best veterinarian in 3 counties and sharper than most lawyers when it comes to records, suggested calling county planning. One anonymous tip later, Inspector Rodriguez showed up, took one look at the unpermitted 8-foot fence blocking an established easement, and slapped a stop work order on it. Vivian's face turned the color of overripe tomatoes. But entitlement doesn't back down easy. She doubled down, planting a second fence at the property line. That's when the local ranching community had enough. Saturday morning, 23 pickup trucks lined up on the county road, engines idling like thunder, and rolled past Willowbrook at 6:15 a.m. with horns blaring in what we called an educational convoy. Nothing illegal, just neighbors expressing opinions. Vivian called the sheriff demanding arrests for noise terrorism. He told her to buy earplugs. Then I exercised my cattle along the public road, past their barbecues on Sunday afternoons. The aroma of fresh manure and road dust drifted into their air-conditioned McMansions like a reality check. Vivian's pearl-white BMW got a nice coating of honest Texas dirt. She hired private security to harass my vehicles. I set up trail cameras and caught guards trespassing, littering, even one relieving himself behind my barn. All footage went to the county commissioner, my hunting buddy, who chuckled about the violations piling up. Garrett uncovered Vivian breaking Texas open meeting laws. No proper notice for big expenditures, so every decision was void. Sarah dove into county records and found the jackpot. My grandfather's road had been built partly with a 1967 federal agricultural grant that required permanent open access for AG vehicles in perpetuity. Blocking it violated federal terms. We ran the numbers. Repayment of the grant plus 40 years of interest came to around $340,000. Suddenly, that fence looked like the priciest mistake in Millbrook County history. Vivian played dirtier. Hired a PI to dig up ancient 1995 runoff fines, long closed, tried reclassifying my ranch taxes to commercial rates through her golf buddy assessor, even threatened IC on my legal workers. But the Real bomb dropped when Sarah discovered Vivian was a disbarred California lawyer who'd embezzled client funds, moved to Texas, and somehow practiced without disclosing her conviction. Texas law requires HOA officers to reveal criminal history. Breach of fiduciary duty meant personal liability for every shady move. We hosted a ranch defense barbecue. 60 neighbors, brisket, beer, old-timers sharing 1962 road-building stories with yellowed photos. Support snowballed. The Cattlemen's Association kicked in defense funds. Sarah's vet connections brought an environmental lawyer who spotted wetland violations. The fence blocked drainage on an intermittent waterway, risking EPA fines. Garrett's paralegal unearthed the nuclear option in a misfiled folder. The Willowbrook development permit had a clause requiring no interference with existing AG operations, or the whole thing could be revoked, potentially forcing all 127 homes to lose occupancy certificates. Vivian had known about it. Her old firm represented the developer. Sabotage came next. Cut water lines at midnight, drained tanks in August heat, threatening my herd. Cameras caught the figure with bolt cutters. Fingerprints matched Vivian's. Charges followed: destruction of property, agricultural terrorism. Anonymous flyers planted saltwater fish in the creek to fake pollution, fake vet board complaints against Sarah, even coordinated insurance fraud claims. The FBI opened an interstate investigation after threats mentioned our kids. Her house got raided at dawn, evidence boxes carried out while she stood in designer pajamas. The HOA board crumbled. 3 members resigned, demanding audits. Vivant les finances collapsed, foreclosure, frozen assets, divorce papers. The new board issued apologies, removed the fence, and offered a settlement that made my eyes water. $275,000 plus fees, another $100,000 from insurance, $50,000 in community grants for ranch education. At the packed community center town hall, proclamations were read, apologies delivered. A ceremonial sledgehammer swung at a fence post section. Standing ovations rolled through the room. We signed a good neighbor agreement, shared road maintenance, mutual respect, educational tours. Ranch appreciation days followed. Kids petting cattle, families buying direct beef, property values rising because authentic AG character turned out to be a draw. 6 months later, the Smart Gate system monitors access legally. Revenue from heritage tours and workshops diversifies the ranch. Creek restoration brings wildlife back, and our kids talk about returning to carry on the legacy. Vivian serves time, her case a cautionary tale in ethics classes. New legislation protects AG heritage statewide. The Thornfield Standard gets cited in courtrooms nationwide. My grandfather built that road for community, sweat, and dreams bigger than his bank account. Turns out, when suburban entitlement meets rural determination backed by solid law and better allies, the road stays open, and sometimes you even get paid to keep it that way. What would you do if someone tried to fence you off your own land? Drop your HOA nightmares in the comments. You're not alone. These fights happen, but justice, Texas style, still rides tall.